Hi, welcome to Low Carb Spin. I'm Karen.
And I'm Therese.
Today we're cooking up a special rye bread, a faux rye bread.
Well, there's nothing faux about it. It has all the flavor
without any of the rye flour.
And low in carb.
High in protein, egg white protein.
Let's see you in the kitchen.
We're so excited to share our faux rye bread, so let's get started.
Yum.
Okay, it's basically, you know, a basic egg white protein bread.
Exactly.
But of course it has our twists on it. We're going to start with egg whites.
There we go.
And some egg white powder. And we want to do everything in a certain order. We're going to dump all this in the mix master first because of the fact that you want to have each section of the recipe prepared so that the egg whites don't deflate.
Yeah, it's got to be a little fast with this to get it in the pan. So definitely measure everything ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And
also prepare your pan, and we're just going to use parchment paper. You don't have to grease it or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And just have that set aside and ready to go, and then it will pretty much go fairly quickly. So we already preheated our oven to 325. So we have the egg whites in, the egg white powder, and then we're going to go on to a little bit of cream of tartar.
Okay. Sticking in my cute little bowls.
Always, always.
I just love these.
And some Acacia Fiber. It's also called gum arabic if you don't find Acacia Fiber. So they're all the same thing. And then that's some Allulose. And then the last addition is Gelatin. And we're just going to let that sit in the mixer. And then we're going to go on to this step. We have just water. First we're going to bloom our yeast. And that's going to bloom for about 5 to 8 minutes, I think.
Yes. You don't want to cheat it. Yes. It's going to double in size, so you'll be able to see that. Then it's ready to go.
So we're going to just do a quick check. This is at 103. Do you want it a little bit hotter, or we are okay?
Maybe just a titch hotter. Want to make sure we're going to get that blooming going. Very important.
She's going to get the water hot, and I'm going to, instead of using inulin, which is what we usually do when we're making the bread, we're going to be using molasses. And not very much, and it's going to really pack a bunch of flavor, and you're really not going to get the carbs from it because the yeast should eat the sugar.
Let's try this temp.
Okay.
See if we're there. The temperature should be a little bit above 110, I think.
Yeah. I wouldn't go too much more. This is hotter, but we're going to start with the molasses first. And it's just going to be, we're using 1 teaspoon. And we'll see if we can get this to the right temp here. We're going to wait a little bit. We don't want to put the water in. Actually, we can put the water in. You know what? Put the water in. Because, you know,
it's gonna
molasses is sticky. It's going to get it out of the spoon. That's not going to change anything. And we'll mix this around.
Temper it in that instead of.
But the yeast needs to go last, otherwise it's not going to work that way.
I think it mixes better that way too.
Yeah, that was okay. Good call. Let's check that one more time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're about 108, 109. That'll do it. And then we'll just sprinkle in the yeast. I'm just going to give it a little stir. And what I like as a tip is to put it on the top of the oven, just because now that the oven's preheating, it gives it a nice warm place. So we'll see you back in about 5 to 8 minutes.
Perfect. So let's get started with the fat portion of this recipe, and we're going to also put the spices in.
Mm-hmm. So we have cream cheese. Make sure it's softened. That's the easiest to work with, and we've had ours sitting out for a while.
Yeah.
And it's the best time to do this. We're still waiting for the yeast to bloom.
Exactly.
Until it, doubles in size here. And then we're gonna do some sour cream. And all of this is just, you're gonna mix this together. We're gonna set it aside because once our eggs are all whipped up to stiff peaks, then that's when we're gonna add the fats.
Yeah, gotta work fast sometimes there at the end.
But you know what? If you measure all this out in the
Ahead.
beginning, it goes 1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
So now we're gonna do some egg yolks. And this mixture, here, let's tilt it up, is just gonna turn into, really creamy. And then we're gonna go on to some baking powder. I'll just tap this in all around. Protein powder.
Yep.
Now we're gonna add some of our great spices to the mixture. We have some ground caraway seeds and some whole caraway seeds. And the last of the spices that we're going to mix in is nutritional yeast.
Sounds yummy.
And just give it a rough stir and then we're going to put it aside. I heard the bell go off, so I know our yeast is ready.
Is that good?
Yeah, it looks really like a nice thick paste. The last addition is salt,
Yep, don't want to forget that.
our flavor enhancer.
Exactly. Look how our yeast has bloomed. It's doubled in size, or I'd even say more than that. And we're going to add this to the mixing bowl. Nice brown color too. It's going to give that bread the authentic color.
So now just stir that around with the mixer attachment.
Yes.
So we get all the stickiness off the bottom. And now we're going to mix it on high speed for 5 minutes.
Well, I think we have our stiff peaks that we were looking for. So our next thing is to add a little dollop of this batter into here. And then we're going to mix it together. And then we're going to put it into the mixer so that it blends better.
That looks great. And the reason why we add the extra batter is because it makes it easier to incorporate back in. So once we get the batter in,
Should I dump it in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
then we're only going to do a couple of like the real fast pulses. You don't even want to really whip it too hard because you don't want that dryness effect. It will turn styrofoam if you over whip it after that.
That would be horrible.
Yes. Okay, so we're just going to do like, yeah. That's about, I'm going to call that good.
All right.
You take that off, and I know this is hard with still having some issues with her arm there.
Okay. Go ahead. Oops. All right.
So you can see it's kind of two-toned, but we're just going to flip it around a little bit.
I'm going to help hold the bowl while you dump.
Yeah, let's see. Let's try to get a better view here. But we're just going to pour it in. It looks like our batter's a little deflated. I was hoping it would be thicker, but
It's very hot today too. We have the 90-degree days, so sometimes that affects it, but I
We're
think
gonna
it'll
see.
come out just fine.
we'll see. We'll be hopeful.
Yes.
And I'm just going to spread it a little bit. Oh, the smell, I love the smell of the caraway. Just it's gonna, if you tilt the spatula in, then it helps with creating more of that dome effect on the bread.
I did not know that. I knew about making a line down the center. I didn't know about the angle.
I'm not gonna do that on this loaf though.
We learn something every day.
Well, I tried it on this loaf. This
Didn't
loaf
help.
doesn't get as high as a regular egg white bread, so it doesn't matter. So our oven's preheated.
Just delicious. Yes,
It's just delicious. So there you go. Into the oven, 325. And
Top
we're gonna go, the top rack, 30 minutes. And then we're gonna check it. Okay, now we can have a party of doing the dishes. So our 30 minutes is up. Let's see what this beauty looks like here. Definitely have to try the
Right here?
toothpick test. Sure.
Ooh, I hear a crust. It's coming out clean.
Okay. Why don't you just tap it with your finger where the bulbous is, where in between there. I think it needs to go for another 10.
Okay.
That's my call.
Get a little browner too.
Well, we cooked it an additional 5 minutes instead of 10, and I think
Looks nice
it's
and brown.
good and brown.
Yes.
So let's turn the oven off, and we're going to keep the door ajar for maybe another 10 minutes.
Here we go.
So I think we need to remove it and place it on the rack. Well, this looks delicious. We're gonna have to cut this up.
Sounds good, and maybe even toast it.
I think this is cooled off enough.
It's looking good.
So let's just cut this in half. If we cut it directly in half, ooh,
Nice.
look at that.
Yum.
Yum, yum, yum. Okay, do you want a thin slice or a thick slice?
Medium.
Like that?
Yeah, perfect. And then we can toast it.
I think so. And this toasts really well in the air fryer.
That's what we're gonna
So
do.
I think that's exactly what we're gonna do.
Look how beautiful this toasted up in the air fryer. It was 8 minutes. It's beautiful.
Oh, delicious.
Can't wait to taste it. We're going to try it with some cream cheese.
Yes,
But-
we are.
Endless possibilities.
Yeah, I wish I had an English cucumber to put on. Avocado slices would
sounds
be
good.
delicious. Of course, any of your deli meats
Exactly.
would be great too. So, but I think this cream cheese and our butter would be the best. And this just smells divine. I wish you guys had smell-o-vision so that you could see how great the aroma is in this kitchen here. Anyway, let's go for it. I just love the savoriness of the caraway, and you just miss it. And it gives you that rye feeling.
The smell. And the bread is very moist inside, fluffy. Even when you toast it. Crunchy on the outside, still soft on the inside.
I think this is great. If you enjoy our recipes and you enjoyed this video, then we'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.